crafty monsters. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody is fabulous. So, in today's fabulous tutorial, we are going to be making Father's Day cards. Now, I told you we were going to be making a few Father's Day cards. Now, we just did this one really quick. It's some little tools, and it says, to a dad who can fix anything, obviously, right? And then in the inside, it just says, loads of love for dad, and then it has a little power drill on the side. But it is just basically a kind of a little masculine. I know you can't see it because of the glare of the silver, but these are little tools. Whoa, this little hair right here. These are little tools that we glued on top of here, same color, just to give them kind of like a little embossed look. And, whoa, focus, boo-boos. Welcome back, my little crafty monsters. Lost them for a minute right there. So, anywho, we're gonna be making these little bad boys. They're super easy. I wanted to make one last Father's Day card, at least so we could have two under our belts, you know. I don't want to make it look like we're leaving the dads out, because we're not. So we're going to go ahead and make this little bad boy. This is the second dad card, and then we are completely done with that, and then we could just move on with birthday cards and all that other good stuff. So, I know you guys don't want to waste any more time, so let's get down and dirty with the crafting, and I will see you in a bit. Alrighty then, my little crafty monsters, let's get down and dirty and make these little bad boys. You will need a card base, and I'm using 110 pounds. Now there will be a tutorial at the bottom in the description for card bases and card mats, and it'll give you the more explanation on all the sizes and everything. So usually you just go about 1/4 of an inch down from the sizes. So right here, I'm just going to go ahead and measure, because I'm trying to see what size of a silver, you know, little paper. Sorry, Chompers is going crazy out there. What size of a silver little paper we're going to be using for the little accent that we're going to be doing. And so we're just going to go ahead and cut that little bad boy down to 5 by 1.5. So cut your little metal strip to 5 by 1.5 if you're going to do this, but it really depends on what size card you guys are making. I mean, there's just so many different sizes, so you know. So right here, I'm just going to cut 1/2 inch off of that little strip, and I'm going to keep those two together because we're going to glue them together. And just go ahead and cut those to 1/2 inch. You're just going to kind of do that little separation look where you have that back mat peeping through that little gap in between the two silvers. You'll see. So before we go ahead and start gluing these little bad boys, let's go ahead and stamp our little bad boys with the sentiments on the inside. And so I don't really have a lot of stamps. This stamp set, I did purchase it at Michael's, and it's a hero. Come on, Mexico, you could say it. A Hero Arts stamp set that I purchased about a year ago. So I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a few new ones out there now that you guys could definitely check out. But anyway, so in the inside, we're just going to put the little stamp that says loads of love for dad. And then in the front, we are going to do something a little bit more similar to, some that goes with the theme of the whole tools and all that. But we are going to add a little power drill, because I think just giving it that little extra power drill right there is kind of cute. You know, it just ties the whole thing together. Now, like I said, if you guys don't have any tools, you guys could definitely use a barbecue, or you guys could use, there's just so many things. You could do a sports, or, you know, whatever it is that you guys want. So we're going to go ahead and start layering our mats, and I just want the black to peep out a very little, just as an accent. So we're going to go ahead and just layer those little bad boys. And we're going to do the same thing with the other card, because we are making two. And then after we got these little mats down, we're going to go ahead and lay down the silver parts. And the silver ones are going to just give it this really nice accent. Now, I don't have an emboss folder for these little silver bad boys right here. So what we are going to do is we're going to cut some
tools from the same exact paper, and we're just going to go ahead and glue those on top, which is going to basically give it that little, you know, that look. Kind of like if we just embossed it. So I put a little bit of glue accidentally on the silver part, and I'm just using my little glue eraser. That is amazing. So anyway, go ahead and just glue your little parts down, and you can put the gap as big as you want or as little as you want. I just made it kind of like a little 1/4 of an inch. I didn't want too much of a gap in between that little silver paper. And that little skinny one, we're going to do this kind of we're gonna try to do some screws to make it look like screws. At the end, it really kind of doesn't look like it, but the recipient will get the gist of exactly where we were going with this little design. Hold on tight, my little crafty monsters. You're in for a ride. So we're just gonna go ahead and use our little tool die set that we purchased off of eBay. I purchased these like a while back. I've had them for a while. And when I do Father's Day cards for like a friend or something, or if I were to do like a birthday card for, let's just say, an older gentleman, then I would usually pull these little bad boys out and make a little card with tools. But so I'm pretty sure there's a lot of dies out there that are tools and stuff like that. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, boo-boo. If you guys heard that, my stomach just rumbled like, feed me. Anywho, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut out these little tools off of this craft paper, because what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and just use the handles, and I'm just gonna make it look like, you know, like the little handles of the tools. And I would think that, you know, it just kind of looks almost like if they were wood, but I don't know if I achieved it. Anywho, it still gives it a different color, and so we're gonna just go with that, boo-boos. If you guys want to use a total different color, then yeah, totally coordinate with it. But being that most of this card is like black, silver, and the blues, the shades of blues, I kind of thought that maybe the craft paper wasn't that bad of a choice. Anyhow, continue going. We're gonna go ahead and just glue all these little handles on these little bad boys. And then once you have this done, we're gonna go ahead and just start assembling our little card together. And it's just by gluing those little tools onto the actual silver, just to kind of make it look like it was an embossed paper. I'm not really trying to do too big of an accent. I just want you to, I mean, you in person, you could totally see the tools. I don't know if in camera you could really pick up the detail of the tools, but you know, it just basically looks like I ran it through an embossing folder. This is another little trick in case you guys don't have certain little embossing folders, but you have dies. Definitely cut out the dies and just cut them out of the same paper, and you know, you kind of get the same effect. So right here, I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same thing with this little bad boy, because we're doing 2 cards. Why is Jesse doing 2 cards? I have no idea, because honestly, to tell you the truth, these cards are going to go into the Paper to Masterpiece greeting card vault and probably get lost there for a while, because I really don't have anybody to give these cards to this year. But I definitely wanted to make a little Father's Day card for you guys. So here it is, boo-boo. And so now that we got these little bad boys down, how cute is this, right? The little tool on the side. I know. It was just that little extra something. So now I'm just going to go ahead and look for some white paper for the sentiment. This is in my little stash of scrap papers. I'm going to cut this down to 3 by 1 inch. So go ahead and cut it down to 3 by 1 inch. And then I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that my sentiment fits on there. And it is a snug fit, but it fits perfect. So And then I'm going to get some black paper to frame this little sentiment, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that little bad boy to 1 1/4 by 3 1/4. So again, 1 1/4 by 3 1/4. And then you can go ahead and just stack those little bad boys. But first, let's stamp the sentiment on this little label on the front. And this is going to be a little bit tricky, but it worked out perfect. Just go ahead and make sure that you're looking over it and you're stamping right on there. And voila, it fits. I was a little bit nervous, guys. I'm not going to lie to you, but we did it. We did it. I said, gee, Jesse was going to F it all up right here in camera. And the good thing is that I did not. So go ahead and just glue these little bad boys onto the black paper. And there you go. Pero mira que tan cute. Now, originally, that little song, the little hammer, they were gonna go crossed, and they were going to go to the left side of that little sentiment. But since I have all those little tools there, the little embossed look, I didn't want to kind of, cover those up too much, because we did do extra little work to put those there. So I just said, you know what? We're just going to put the saw on the top and then the little hammer underneath the sentiment. And that was not originally how it was supposed to go, but, sometimes at the last minute we change things. And right here, I'm just going to go ahead and use my hole puncher to try to make some screws. Now, I don't know if these really do look like screws. I really did try my hardest. I swear to you, my little crafty monsters. But I don't really think I succeeded, but it's okay. I mean, because the recipient will totally get the gist of what I was, my vision right here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and glue it. I just said, you know what? I am not even going to attempt to try to make these look like screws while they're not glued onto the card. So I said I'm going to glue them onto the card to get that extra cushion from those layers of paper. And then I'm going to go in there with my little score tool, and I'm going to go ahead and make the little crisscross like the screws, and then you guys are going to see that it kind of does really look like it towards the end. I mean, it's not the greatest. So I feel that Jesse's going to basically have to either go get some brads that look like screws, or you are going to have to try to look for a little screw die. See, that's how Jesse's brain thinks, because he's like, you're going to need that. It's going to be a must in your craft room. So did you see how I did that, boo-boos? That was super easy. Just go ahead and do the little hole punch and then put them onto your project, and then use your score tool to kind of do that little crisscross like the little screws. And it kind of does look like it. So I was pretty impressed. I mean, could they have been a little bit better? Yes, they definitely could. But this is the way we did it right here, boo-boo, and it worked. It worked. This was a super simple card, but it also, was pretty impact. I mean, you don't want to get too crazy when it's really for a guy. I mean, it's really hard, and you all know how hard it is when you're trying to get a card for a man. Now, it's not always that easy, but you can't go wrong with something like this, especially if your grandfather or husband loves, or your dad loves tools. I mean, you can't go wrong with this. My grandfather loved tools, so this is in honor of my grandpa. There you go.
Back my little crafty monsters, hey. All right, that's enough. That's enough. I'm getting a little carried away there, Jesse. Anyhow, that's how easy it was to make these little bad boys right here, boo-boos. Super, super easy. I mean, use what you got. If you guys don't have the tools, you guys could probably think of something else. Maybe you could do like a barbecue one. If you don't have a barbecue one, stamp or whatever, then maybe you could do a sport one, your dad's favorite sport or whatnot. But anyway, I'm not really too creative about that because I didn't really have a dad. So my father was more of my grandfather. I did have a stepfather, but he wasn't the nicest in the world. But my grandfather was amazing. And so I was way too young. Now that I'm older and I can make all these Father's Day cards and stuff like that, he's not around. But anywho, so I was trying to give you guys some ideas on some little cute little cards. Now, these don't necessarily have to be for your pappy. It could definitely be for your hubby too, because if your hubby's a father, hello, then he would totally get one of these cards from you too. I mean, like, how cute would that be, right? The man who fixes everything in your house. Anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Don't forget to subscribe. Go ahead and hit that little icon. It's the picture of moi. Hello. You guys want to be my BFFFFs? Because like I always say, BFs is good, but BFF is better. And you totally want to be there. And don't forget to... oh my God, I got a little tongue twister. Calm down, Jesse. Calmate, mijo. Mijo, calmate. Take a deep breath. So don't forget to share and tell a friend, because your friends also need to know how fabulous these tutorials are. And also, since you're already there, I mean, you're already there, go ahead and hit the little bell icon so you guys will be notified every time I upload a video. And you guys do not be falling behind, because you don't want to be falling behind. So, that's it for now, my little crafty monsters. Until next time, bye.